take the red pill and to finally become a MGTOW might easily sound like a solipsistic solution to the problem of society that hates men. But does going their own way mean that MGTOW don't care about what they leave behind? I would say no. I feel that it is the duty of those of us who swallowed the red pill to share what we have learned with other men, so that they in turn can spread the word. The author Neal Stephenson coins the term Amistics in his latest science fiction novel, meaning, quote, the choices that different cultures made as to which technologies they would and would not make part of their lives, unquote. This imagined future selects an increasingly ubiquitous contemporary technology for exclusion, high-frequency social media tools. Are we witnessing the effects on society of Amistics today? In his novel, because of the social media's capacity to get the better of the higher faculties by bombarding human brains with emotive appeals, distractions and short-term enticements, these psychological prods and pokes precipitate a near-terminal crisis within a society already traumatized by terrible events. So, in our real world, could this explain the mindless acceptance of third-wave feminism and the growth of reactions such as MGTOW, anti-feminists, MRA, etc.? So how does technology define society, rather than society define technology? If we look to the Amish, which is what Stephenson does, they test technologies for their effect as a formal process. Someone brings a new piece of technology to their community leaders. The community leaders appoint others to test it out. And everyone then reports back. If no sufficiently compelling benefit is found, the community does not adopt it. It's archaic, patriarchal, and surprisingly robust. Amish numbers continue to grow across America. So, is this a reflection of the turning of the tide against feminist vision? The Amish practice an undervalued discipline, critical thinking about technology. And in the West, it is this lack of critical thinking which has led to the internet becoming increasingly more gynocentric with its safe spaces, censorship, and providing a voice for stupidity which gains false respect and mesmerization. More often, modern attitudes to technology are dominated by what psychologist Paul Slovic christened the effect heuristic, in which, in the absence of evidence or expertise, a difficult judgment is referred to the emotions. What is this if not gynocentrism infecting what men created to be a valuable tool? As Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman explains it, the effect heuristic simplifies our lives by creating a world that is much tidier than reality. And this tidy world appeals more to the masses than reality. So when the anti-feminists try to explain the fact, tidier explanations of mansplaining, patriarchy, etc. are shouted and so accepted, rather than having to live in the real world. So good technologies have few costs in the imaginary world we inhabit. Bad technologies have no benefits, and all decisions are easy. Can we do better to expose the hypergamy in a gynocentric society, to see more men taking the red pill? Let us imagine for a moment that we're part of an early tribal society whose most advanced technology is the flint tool, and we come up against a rival able to make bronze weapons. Now, unless we too learn the secrets of bronze working, or, better still, forging steel, we are at their mercy. They can extract unfavourable trading terms or take our territory, if they so choose. Even if they don't choose to press their advantage, we're still only safe until the next and better armed tribe comes along. Now let us compare this scenario with today. As our greatest achievement, the internet has been co-opted by the feminists, who use it much more effectively than we do. And like our ancestors, we are now a victim to it. Just as the old tribes didn't foresee technology give rise to runaway hypergamy, we allowed the platform that the internet provides to be the undoing of society. And learning from their mistakes, we must either take back the web or find something even more powerful to wake up men from the feminist delusion. Technology isn't the only factor in civilizational success. but when it comes to a long-term rivalries, it tends to be decisive. The same applies to the world of business. For example, if you work in financial services and a rival trading operation buys the latest in high-frequency automation, you'll need to do the same just to keep up, and something better yet to gain an edge. You're welcome to opt out at any time, but there'll always be another to take your place. Reflection is a luxury affordable only after the event. Regulation, more often than not, a species of mitigation drawn up by a winner's clubs. Thus ends the determinist tale in which technological and human progress are largely synonymous. Protests to the contrary are either nostalgia or denial. So where does this leave the MGTOW community? If there is no hope for a better future for all men, as determinism would suggest, should we just give up and become hermits? I argue no. We created men's chains and we can break them. We created the internet to share knowledge, so we can take it back to shine a light on the vacuous statements of the feminist agenda. It's determinism that's in denial of the facts and doesn't define our future. It is down to us to ask the questions. Progress towards what? And at what cost? Progress in which areas and to whose gain? Unless we can turn to the cumulative insights of other fields, to philosophy, science, politics and arts, to history, psychology, aesthetics and fiction, we can't begin to debate such questions. And it is these areas in which MGTOW is strong. We mustn't allow ourselves to be reduced to the state of automata, accepting the world feminists are creating. To do so is to have failed to do justice to either us or our creations. The alternative? Dispense with any take on technology as something outside of our journey. Look to what we do and how we do it and why, as well as what we do it with. The feminists don't have access to any technologies that we don't, yet they dominate the web. Everything we need to fight back is there for us to use. Our message to blue pill men and manginas is too important not to share to the best of our abilities with the best technologies we have created. As another science fiction author, William Gibson, famously declared, quote, "The future is already here, it's just not very evenly distributed." The corollary is that if you look hard and honestly enough, you'll see a shadow of your future flickering elsewhere in the present. What are people actually doing today with tools old and new? What are the balances to be borne in mind, the effects of innovation upon values worth chasing? These are questions worth answering, all the more so because no answers will ever be final. When it comes to technology, the greatest peril of all is that we abandon critical thinking in a puff of determinism. That, as Stephenson's fictional society did to its cost, we switch off our higher faculties in a blaze of precision engineering titillation, be it as solipsists or manginas. Our responsibility is to every man, as we can best understand our circumstances, comprised, enmeshed in history, bound by ties we have not chosen. To become more free for us is not to pretend that the mirrors our machines hold up show anything entirely new. It is to look more closely at how we live, with them and without them, and hope to become less deceived.